What's up, long cool ladies? Welcome back to the channel. Today I'm gonna give you all the tips that you need to know in terms of working with makeup with facial hair. It is a pretty big concern for a lot of trans girls and cross-dressers out there. I'm gonna give you the tips, tricks, and knowledge that I know of. If you do not know anything about me in particular, my name is DIMITRIA SPARROW. I work with aiding you in beauty tips for trans girls, cross-dressers, or anyone who wants to present themselves feminine, especially if you are born male and you're trying to present the opposite. And facial hair is one of those big dreads, and it is one of those things that could ruin the best look you've ever done. The 5 o'clock shadow just pops out of nowhere. I'm gonna try to get through this quick and get to the point because I've had this makeup on for 10 hours trying to troubleshoot it. My light has been dying, so we're gonna get right down into it. I have done a video on this topic before about how to cover your facial hair with makeup and using color correctors and so forth. Please tell me I haven't gotten my lips. Okay. When you get the hair in the lips, it's the worst and most rudest awakening you could ever imagine. In that video, I address color correctors. This is an example of a color correcting palette. This is the Studio Fix Conceal and Correct palette by MAC Cosmetics. I believe in the shade Light. What these are, you can kind of see a lot of them in funky colors like green, red, yellow. And what they do is they neutralize unwanted colors. If you have a lot of redness in your skin, you might go with a primer that is green tinted. So what you would do is you'd apply that green primer. When you put your foundation over it, it has neutralized all the redness so that the redness has not shown up through your foundation. And speaking of that, have you ever had that instance where a 5 o'clock shadow, no matter how much foundation you put on, no matter how much concealer you slap on, it is coming through? And so what you have to do is you have to figure out what colors are coming through your beard shadow in order to neutralize the colors, and then you put your foundation on. Because no matter how much of that foundation or concealer you're putting on, it is not going to take care of that situation. That color is still going to pop through. The general rule of thumb is people are on a spectrum of either a blue shadow or a more green shadow, or kind of in between. And so to take care of this, you would use a more orange tinted color corrector for a blue cast, and you would use something more of a red color corrector to neutralize more green tones. You might find certain tutorials showing you to use a big bold orange, or in some cases I've seen people use more of a red lipstick sort of thing. Usually most people don't need that much. Color correctors work in the sense the deeper your skin tone, the deeper the color corrector has to be to even combat what's going on in your skin tone. And the more fair you are, the lighter the color corrector has to be. If I had a green tinge, I have more of a blue tinge, but say I had green, I would be looking more on this salmon color rather than a bright red lipstick because of my skin tone. If you are going to use that, do not overly pack it on. You'll find in those tutorials, they will apply it. They've got a mask of orange on them, and then when they put foundation on, it's almost like they've replaced the beard shadow color with orange. There's no point in using a color corrector to neutralize one color, only to replace it with another unwanted color. If you're going to use something like that, if that's the only thing you have around, use it at a very minuscule level. But in my case, I would opt for using, if I have a more blue cast in my upper lip, I would use something more in the orange. Bear that in mind. You need to get a color corrector that adheres to your skin tone. I'll have this in the description below. You can get it in multiple different shades. This is the light version, and I've seen ones where the shades are getting far darker for you. Now, what you also want to do is take a synthetic haired domed blending brush, and this is what you're going to do before your foundation. You're going to take some on here. You have to be sort of mindful of how you're applying this. You're gonna take it, so on my upper lip, I'm going to pat down in a sort of stippling motion. Anytime you work with facial hair in makeup, you want to be going downwards, because when you shave, you have not gotten rid of the entire hair, and your facial hair is a breathing organism. It regrows throughout the day while you still have a full face of makeup on. Think about what happens if you go in the reverse. It's almost like you're putting product underneath that facial hair. It's going to emphasize and brighten every single follicle, and it's going to turn into a whole bunch of problems. Think about when you are applying your color corrector. Almost imagine when a drag queen is gluing their eyebrows down. You know, they don't go this way, right, against it. That would be silly. You would go down like this to roll it down. That's kind of what you want to do with your facial hair. Whichever area it grows, apply it this way. If it's diagonal, this way. There are two things I also want to address that will affect how you put on makeup with facial hair. The first thing is skincare. I am big on skincare because when you're kind of dealing with sort of art, I mean, makeup is art, your face is your canvas, just as a canvas is for a painter. The only issue is the canvas you're working for with makeup is alive, it's breathing, and you need to take care of it on a daily basis, or else your canvas is not going to look so very good. It's almost like a painter's canvas. If you don't take care of it, it's got all these bumps all over it, and it's discolored, and weird stuff is sprouting out of it. Beard. These are things you have to keep in mind. You need to make sure you're cleansing daily to keep this area clean so you don't run into unsanitary issues. You need to shave safely to where you're not running into a whole lot of razor bumps and irritation. Make sure you are moisturizing to calm and soothe and restore the moisture in that lower part of your face. What has worked for me incredibly is the Avène Lipid-Replenishing cream. This is a fantastic cream to use for sensitivity, redness, and restoring the moisture in that area. It may not seem like a big deal, but when you put into perspective that shaving is a form of literal exfoliation to your face, possibly every single day, something that the face can barely put up with, you kind of got to take care of it. And this also goes into makeup. If you ever deal with razor bumps or irritation or a sort of folliculitis kind of thing, that leaves texture. And when you put foundation over it, you kind of get a sandpaper texture. So again, makeup is not meant to slap on a mask. I mean, for some people it is. The goal of makeup is more to enhance something that is already there, to build and improve upon it, which is why your face is the canvas. And so the way you treat your face is going to show up in your makeup. But the last thing I really want to address for you is figuring out what type of finish in your makeup you want to work with. Now, a lot of people will tell you, in terms of feminizing the face, the safest way to work around feminizing your face is to stick to a matte finish. And there's a few reasons for this. What I was talking about with that sandpaper texture when you get razor bumps and irritation, when you put on a radiant foundation, that kind of gives more of a shine. With that type of foundation, it's more reflecting a lot of light. Everywhere you turn, it's almost like this highlight I have, right? So it's emphasizing the texture in my cheeks. Think about if you are putting a radiant foundation in this area. It's going to emphasize all of those bumps in your skin. You could have neutralized the colors, but if you're emphasizing that rough texture in that area, that is going to clock you, even if you have neutralized that color. Because we have to keep in mind how people perceive male and female skin. Male skin is more oily, it's got larger pores, it's thicker, and as we perceive it, a little more durable and rugged. With female skin, it's generally softer, more plump, healthier looking. It's characterized by those sweet rosy cheeks. When you have one half of your face that is all rugged and emphasized by something that shines, that's gonna clock you like nothing else. So the goal is to be nice and homogeneous. And this is why people recommend a matte finish. It's not that it will emphasize all of the features in here. The thing is, everyone has razor bumps, everyone deals with it. I have to deal with it sometimes, but I'm far more comfortable wearing a matte foundation rather than a foundation that shines and emphasizes that area. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Please comment down below if you have any questions, concerns. I am not a big YouTuber, so I will surely answer all of your questions. Stay beautiful, my long cool ladies. I'm glad to be back.